he would no longer, as soon as he go home and take a shower or whatnot, all of this will be physically just gone. He'll have a sharp line up on this side and all this will be gone. And this client will probably, you know, think about coming back to me or not coming back to me, basically. But if we take it and line this weak side up first, where it's most thickest at, or somewhat most thickest at, now we're able to take this side back just as much as we need. So to set in this first guideline, you could do one of two things. So we got both of our trimmers and our clippers right here. We can either set it in with our trimmer or we can set it in with our clipper. Setting it in with our liners or trimmers, basically, it will set in a harder guideline and it will be way harder for us to take out. Alright, what's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be doing a high taper. And I'm going to be showing y'all the basic steps on how to transition a high taper into, you know, bulk up top or afro of some sort. So we're going to be doing the lineup and everything in this video and everything like that. So I'm not going to really hold y'all too long. I'm about to get inside the video, teach y'all this good knowledge. And yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe before the video starts. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe right now. So obviously the first thing that you want to do is start combing everything out, getting everything nice and lifted off the scalp so y'all can have a nice good foundation for setting y'all guidelines and starting y'all fade. So to set in this first guideline, you could do one of two things. So we got both of our trimmers and our clippers right here. We can either set it in with our trimmer or we can set it in with our clipper. Setting it in with our liners or trimmers, basically, it will set in a harder guideline and it will be way harder for us to take out. I would say set that in at a beginner's. If you're setting with the trimmers, if you're not more so a beginner, if you want to move to, you know, move towards a more advanced type thing. So I'm going to do the clipper over here on this side and we're going to do the trimmer over there on that side, just so y'all can see. So level all the way close, and my trimmers, my clippers, they're not zero gap, but they're close to zero gap. And just for you that don't know, zero gap means zero elevation. So basically, both blades, the moving blade is what cuts, and the steel blade is right here. They're both equal. They're both coming to a point. They're both equal. So that what makes zero. You know the term zero gap. That's where we get that from. But with being zero gap, especially with a pair of trimmers, if the cutting blade is over the steel blade right here, you know, this is the part that's physically moving back and forth. So if this blade is over, just a tad bit over this blade, it's going to wind up cutting your clients. And you do not want that to happen. Some clippers, or some, you know, I think every clipper that I've ever had, it came with a zero gapping tool. For the back of the neck area, we are going to use our clippers because the neck area is one of the most sensitive parts on a human being's, you know, body or skin or head, I would say. So to avoid any, you know, redness or irritation in the skin for the clients, we're going to use our clippers. Because my clippers are close to zero gap. They're not zero gap all the way. But basically we're just making a line all the way across. So the first thing in my process that we're going to do, we're going to start with the level all the way over with our clippers and go up. You know, you could go up however you feel, but make sure, you know, on this side and that side and in the middle, it's all the same width. You could go up an inch or half an inch. I wouldn't recommend go up 2 inches, but hey, if you want to go up 2 inches and you know, extend the fade, be my guest. Doing that, and now we're going to work slowly down, closing the lever till we get to the lever all the way close, and that's where we begin with that first guideline at. So we're going to slowly start to move down inside of the fade. And it's a really quick process. I'm showing you how quick this process is. And this is where it gets interesting at. So when you have a lot of bulk right here and you're trying to blend into this right here, first thing you want to do, I truly don't know how long his hair is at the top. So what we're going to do, we're going to create the taper space for us. We're going to get the number 2 guard with the lever all the way open. And we're just going to go down. We're going to go down, and this is going to blend or make that, you know, taper area look for our afro. And then you're going to slowly start closing the lever. I'm closing the lever. You know, I'm used to doing all this. So we're going to slowly close the lever and move down. Every time we close the lever, we move down. We should never be in the previous spot that we were just at. Now, this is the sweet spot. Where we left off with that number 2 guard, we're gonna take this 1.5 guard, lever all the way open. We always start with the lever all the way open. And then we're gonna repeat the process, starting off where we left off with the number 2 guard. And we're just closing the clipper, going down. And this creates enough room for us. So now we're able to see what we're doing and start our blending process. So with this, we're just gonna jump straight into it with this half guard, this 1.5 guard. And just because he has an afro and we're tapering into an afro, we're gonna use our flick out motion. The flick out motion is used to create weight or to preserve weight up top. And to make sure we don't go too high, we're using our fading down technique. Basically, fading down, not even going higher than what we're doing right now with this 1.5 guard. We're not going to touch nothing above it. And we're just going to slowly close the lever and work our way down, move our way down. So after we're done with the whole entire area, we're going to start to move down, picking up where we left off with that 1.5 guard, with our number 1 guard all the way open. Every time we grab or start with a new guard, with our fading down process, the lever will always be all the way open, first thing, and then we're working to all the way close. And so right here, doing the same exact thing, still flicking out, moving down, closing the lever at the same exact time, because we're preserving the weight, or preserving, or making sure and ensuring that we're not pushing the fade up too high. And as y'all can see, it's a very, very nice blend already. And for our last step, you can go back in detail, basically splitting 2 hairs into 1 or 4 hairs into 2. That's all you're doing when you're detailing. You're clearing up a lot of the bulkiness within it, and what creates bulkiness is little clumps of hairs that's together. That's what creates a what we so call, you know, as barbers, a dark mark or something like that. Well, not something like that, but that's what we call it. We call it dark marks. Dark marks, imperfections in the fade. Because you want a gradual, well, it separates a good fade from an average fade, from a bad fade. What separates a very good fade is the continuous pattern or graduation from light or skin to darkness or hair up top. You want a nice smooth transition. And when you have that nice smooth transition, that will particularly mean that you would have a good fade, or that you as a barber have given somebody a very, very, very nice fade. Alright, this is the side that we set the trimmers in, or the first guideline with the trimmers. So we're going to do the same exact thing we did from the back. We're going to do to the sides. So we're going to go up. See, the thing about a high taper doesn't have to necessarily be high. You can make a high taper or low taper. In my opinion, high, low tapers, I know it sounds kind of funny, but high, low tapers look extremely better than somebody doing just a straight high taper. To create a high and low taper, you still want to go through your same exact processes, but all you want to do is just make your guidelines a lot smaller. That makes the line stand out a lot more. For like a sharper, you know, line up and everything, it just makes the line pop out a lot more. And you can really see the high taper in its full, I want to say full effect. So now we reached the part to where they have a lot of bulk. So we're going to take our number 2 guard as usual. And just go down, creating that high taper shape that we want. Just like this. Going down, moving down as well, closing the lever, moving down, closing the lever to all the way close. Boom. Now we have all this bulk right there. All that bulk right there that y'all see. Let me see if I can zoom in for y'all a little bit. All this bulk right here. Because I can see the hair physically graduating, but this is where the 2 guard stops at. That's where the 1.5 guard comes in at. All the way open with the lever. And we attack it at one little spot. Closing the lever. We still going in that same exact shape. Combing it. Going down a little bit more. Combing it. Till we get to all the way closed. We're not going to touch it with our 1 guard. Now, just like we did with the back taper, we start flicking out with this half guard. Not really digging in or nothing like that. Moving down, closing the lever. It's very simple, very easy. This is called fading down. And what do you do when you fade down? The name is exactly what it is. You fade down and you move down. Fading while moving down. So, for this one designated spot, right here, we're going to move down with our one guard, level all the way open. And just follow through our same exact processes, our same exact steps. Very easy, very simple. High tapers are very, very, very smooth cuts. Level all the way closed. And now we have our half guard. Level all the way open. Or you can start with the level halfway open if you choose to. And we're still combing through the hair. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Because it's not blended all the way. Now what we have to do to create a more smoother blend for our hot taper is use the rake down technique. Level all the way over, and I do have wall seniors. I wouldn't recommend you doing this unless you have wall seniors. And this is gonna make the blend come all together. I promise y'all. I could go way up here with the rake down technique all in this area. It's all about pressure. It's all about pressure. And you have to have the look already inside your head, I would say. You have to know what you're doing when you're doing this. Closing the level, moving down. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you will create a hard line inside your client's blend and then inside your client's head. And you do not want that to happen. So I will start this, or start using this technique on people with low cuts, I would say. So whenever you're doing this part right here, I'm going to show you this part for this taper real quick. So now I'm at the part where I have my 2-guard on and I'm kind of debulking. When you're debulking, when you're fading basically in general, you're also fading like this. When you're debulking, I'm also fading. I'm not pressing into his head. I'm kind of just grazing it. Let me show y'all. Y'all can see from the side. I'm not pressing down, going straight in there. I'm grazing it. You gotta think, what I think about, I think about all these different things when I'm starting to cut hair. Think of a horizon, a sunrise basically. And with that horizon, the light that's coming from the sun is basically, it's not the horizon, the sun is right here. The horizon, or the sun rays or the sunlight, is lighter right here, but as it continuously gets, further away from the actual sun, it starts to get lighter or darker, I would say. So that's kind of how I picture cutting hair and fading almost. It's the same exact concept. I'm an artist. I can draw. I could draw. Before I started cutting hair, I was a drawer. I was an actual artist, a God-given talent for real. So I kind of mix concepts when it comes to cutting hair. That's why I think cutting hair comes a little bit more natural to me than others for real. Because I've only been cutting for 3 years now, but I kind of just relate these types of things to art. So I think it's just, easy to me. It's just a nice concept that I use and it's a lot easier. But I just wanted to tell y'all that real quick before you sort of line up steps, just to see if y'all could grasp the explanation like that when it comes to transitioning this taper into this blend up here. Because a lot of people have a lot of trouble with that. A lot of people, whenever they start, they'll blend on right here, and it's the blend just stops, and it's just straight baldness right here, and then everything above that is just hair just poking out, just this afro just poking out. You want a nice graduated look from light or skin to darkness up top. And you want it to all slowly flow all into each other. You ever got a pencil and you did this in class and pressed down on it, and then you slowly started to move down? You kind of do this in art class. You slowly started to move down and press lightly on the pen, and now it's creating it gets black and then it gets gray, and then you fade into basically nothing. It's the same exact concept, same exact thing. We're all artists when we wear barbers as well. Alright, on the lineup for this particular client, it does go more so in a U shape almost. It'll look straight when you look at them from a dead on point, but hold your head down a little bit. It goes in a U shape, so you want to make each U shape identical to the other side for real. So you do have a strong side and a weak side, and by looking at it, I'm gonna let y'all dictate that first. Which side do y'all think is his strong side, and what side do y'all think is his weak side? Y'all comment the time frame that y'all posted and y'all noticed it. And post what side. What side do y'all think is the strong side and weak side? So by looking at his lineup, I can see that his left side, or y'all's left, this is his weak side and this is his strong side. So let me get this for y'all. We're about to break this whole entire lineup situation down of the strong side, or why it's important to line up the weak side first and not the strong side. So boom, this is the strong side. If we line up the strong side first, preserving hair, this is the lineup right here. If we line up the strong side first, this side right here will be identical to about right here. That would be identical, the identical spots. If I was to line up here and just put a whole bunch of enhancements right here, he would no longer, as soon as he go home and take a shower or whatnot, all of this will be physically just gone. He'll have a sharp lineup on this side and all this will be gone. And this client will probably, you know, think about coming back to me or not coming back to me, basically. But if we take it in line, this weak side up first, where it's most thickest at, or somewhat most thickest at, now we're able to take this side back just as much as we need to make it look like a straight lineup. But basically, if you line up the strong side first, you'll have a lineup. If you line up the strong side first and you do take it back to this weak side instead of making it equal and cutting it down and putting a lot of enhancements, if you try to do it and line up this weak side, you'll have a slanted lineup. His lineup will be way back here on this side and way down here, right here on this side. And it's not gonna, gonna look all funny. He's gonna have dips in his lineup on the corners and stuff like that. That's how you know when your client or another barber, when y'all see on Instagram and YouTube and all that, whenever somebody has dips in their corners, their lineup is not straight. Their lineup is 100% not straight. There's tricks that you can learn to make the lineup straight, but you just have to be taught these things. A lot of people are not taught these things. So a lot of people tend to mess up when it comes to creating a nice straight lineup for every single client. Because every single client most definitely doesn't have that straight, you know, look that you're looking for, or straight natural lineup that we are looking for. And let me erase this real quick. So what we're going to do, we're going to work our way to his left side, and then we're going to match our right side with his left side, because the left side is the weak side. And we can always take hair away, which we're going to do right here, but we can never bring hair back. We can't substitute right here for hair because he physically just doesn't have nothing there. And that's what barbers have to understand. That would you know, let the client kind of dictate whether they will want to come back to you in the future, or whether they're deciding if you truly know how to cut hair, and if they want to continue to come back to you and continue to get their haircut by you. So we're going to spray some more water spray, because this is an all-natural haircut, and we're going to jump straight into it. So this is another thing with lineups like this, and when you're creating full natural, well really when the client's lineup is in a U-shape you know, motion, what helps me out a lot is doing the vertical bars first. So we're going to do the vertical bar on this side. Let me turn them a little bit so I can be able to angle myself as well. Right here, we are adding a nice little slant to it, so it can look boxy. And everything after that, we're just cutting it off. So we're not going up too high because we don't know how far, you know, this lineup will be at whenever we line up the front. And since this lineup, his vertical bar on the side ends right here where his eyebrows is about to end, we're also going to do the same exact thing on this side. So we're going to angle it, and right where his eyebrows is about to end, that's where we're going to set in this vertical bar on this side. Alright, so when you're first starting off a lineup, even though they have a strong side and a weak side, you always start off in the middle. That middle is the meeting point, or the center point, that you're going to wind up connecting both sides of the lineup with. So you want to use his nose as the middle piece, and then go up. That's what I do. And I start where the lineup will look most thickest at. Let me show you this. So I started it right here. because he has a light spot right here. So I'm taking it where that light spot will be most thickest hair. So this is my middle point. You see all of this hair that I have to physically cut off on this side? It's okay, because that's what's needed to make both sides equally straight. So what I'm going to do right now is y'all going to see when the video, or when I'm done with the lineup. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start working towards this left side. Y'all will run into clients like this, and you will want to know how to do, you know, all different types of lineups, and not just focus on, you know, creating one lineup or creating one look for real. Because then we have a client like this, or any other client with a more so difficult lineup. I won't say this client's lineup is difficult, but they have people that lineups are actually, you know, more difficult than others. You want to know how to attack the situation. You want to know how to attack the situation. You just don't want to know or be one-sided when it comes to lineups. And now when a client needs a service for you, or wants that straight lineup, now you're blaming it on the client's lineup, but it's really the lack of knowledge that you possess when it comes to lining up a client. And we're going to make our micro adjustments, and we're slowly ensuring of making this line up. And then when you're ready for the opposite side, what you want to do, you want to go back to the middle and continue to follow this curve, or this curvature that we set in. Taking a step back, looking at it, going back in, taking a step, looking at it, going back in. Just making sure and ensuring that our lineup is straight, or both sides are even. So everybody, this is the cut right here, a nice, clean, high taper. This is the lineup, hopefully y'all can see. Boom, nice, sharp, crisp lineup. This is all natural. This is an all natural cut. Nice smooth transition. I'm gonna lower the air for y'all so I can see. Put your hair down a little bit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nice clean tape in the bag. So this is a very good haircut, a very nice go-to. You know, you can only simplify haircuts by high tapers, low tapers. When it comes to tapers, you can do a mid taper, but it's gonna be one of those three forms basically. Basically, like what we did today, we did a high taper, but we transitioned our high taper to be a low high taper. Basically, not bringing the high taper up as high, so we can see these nice clean vertical bars on the side and this nice clean lineup right there in the back. So this brings out this more when we have, you know, a lower taper when it's high, and it looks way nicer, way cleaner. When it comes to a fade, you know, they have a high fade, a mid fade, a low fade, and then they have a drop fade. But it's you know, it's all each haircut is just, you know, all one of those types of haircuts. They all form from, you know, those starter haircuts for them. So this is a nice go-to for your clients. Usually people get high tapers, low tapers, and, you know, either a drop fade or a mid fade all the way around, or a high fade all the way around. So yeah, so it's H5B. If you're not in the business, what you're doing, and we out.